Hey everybody, this is Grace. And I would be making my video inside the house. I put on my makeup and everything, but my old dog Marmaduke sits beside me and he pants a lot. So it's just out of the blue every once in a while, and yes, he's the vet knows and all that stuff. But anyway, so I'm doing my video like this. And anyway, in this one I want to kind of catch up on some stuff. I used to use this channel a few years ago quite a bit, and I used it mainly for venting, or before then and since then, really, videos that I just didn't like the way they flowed right. Not many of my videos flow right. Just something about them. I'd put them on this channel, and sometimes eventually would make them public. I still have some from March, and here it is, May 2nd, that I want to make public. And yeah, it was the ones about pandemic vlogs. And maybe I will. I know it's kind of annoying, but I want to make some of them public. But this one, I basically want to catch up on the things that I used to use a few years ago, like I was starting to talk about, to vent about the people I deal with, actual people that, well, back then it was his family, Adam's. I don't like to say Adam's family, but, because I remember the show Adam's Family. Although, yeah, and I used to do that, and the whole thing of his sister coming to to stay with us for, I don't even remember. I think her whole vacation was 6 months, but I think she went back early. She didn't stay with us the 6 months, but she has three brothers, Adam being one of them, and she stayed with each family. They live, we don't live anywhere nearby, all three families, and she would stay with, I think it was us first, then one brother, then the other brother, then came back to our place before she left. I think that was how it went. It was a few years ago. How long ago was it? But anyway, because anyway, she was bad. She was a really bad person. Oh my goodness. She's probably like 61 years old now. And I know when I was young, I thought people around my age, I'm 56, I'll be 57 before you know it. And, I always thought people that age, when she was here, I think she was, maybe she's 62 now, I don't know. I think she was 59 or something like that. But anyway, when I was young, I thought people that were those ages are really old. When I was younger. But no, we're not really old. And not everything starts to be worked out by now. No. Because there are some people who are just truly messed up. And his sister, I did videos there. She was really messed up, and she wanted everybody else's life to be messed up as her mind. And she worked hard to do that. And when she left, by the way, back then, she told me, she said, "I'm so sorry that I caused you so much trouble." And nobody had told her she did. She knew she did. She did it on purpose. And then she gave that narcissistic smirk. Yeah, she wasn't apologizing. She really wasn't apologizing. But anyway, there's a reason this is on my mind. Okay, I'm cutting this off every once in a while, but the reason, so I'm doing separate clips here. So if it doesn't sound like it all flows, that's why. But anyway, the reason it's on my mind is because I've thought about this since then, and I've noticed it since then, and then yesterday it happened again, so that's why it came to mind again. And that is when she was here, okay, she's the type that wants all the attention on her, and like I've said, will do anything to have it. And it's rather histrionic behavior, to want that attention and not care if it's negative or positive, as long as she's getting attention. She's not the only one that I know. No, not the only one. I've known them since I was born. This type, they have a narcissistic histrionic blend, and sometimes for her, it's what I've coined as the dramatic dark triad. Not the dark triad, but the dramatic dark triad, which is I put this in my mind together. This is how I see it. I always think it's funny when somebody says they coined something, but I did. This because it's the behavior I have seen my whole life is mixture of narcissistic behaviors, histrionic behaviors, and sadistic behaviors. Okay, I'm not talking about sexual pleasure. I'm talking about sadistic behaviors. Okay, it doesn't have to be sexual. And these days, you might say the tetrad was when you had hedonism in it. But anyway, this was her. She was bad. She actually knew that I have chemical allergies, so perfume is not something that should be around. Anybody should wear around me that knows me, that doesn't want to kill me. And guess what she did? Yeah, she actually painted the wall, next part on the wall, to the room where I stayed most of the time. I told Adam, I said, yeah. What was she trying to do, kill me? And he didn't like it. He threw a fit, but yeah. Speaking of allergies, yeah, I had to cut it off again. But anyway, while it's on my mind, now he has this odd loyalty to his family, but I understand it. Believe me, sometimes have, well, I used to have that odd loyalty to mine. Maybe I still do, but mine is dysfunctional, so, too. His is, too. But, and he's aware of it. I'm aware of it. I'm aware of mine. He's aware of mine also. So, we've known one another for almost 40 years. Anyway, where I was going was, why it was on my mind was, when she was here, when his sister was here, there was one TV show that he and I watched together. Okay, we were so busy with everything else, and that was at 8 o'clock here at Central Time. We watched the Rachel Maddow show. Okay, well, that wasn't good for her because she wanted the attention. That was after she decided when dinner was going to be at 7. Oh, man, so many things. This woman wanted to take control over everything because it was all about her, that type. Anyway, so what she would do is when we sat down to watch this show at 8 o'clock, she would start talking to him. She would do anything to get attention from him, okay, during that time. And that was, I think, before, either we didn't have that service or it was before we knew how to, to get it in our mind to use it where you could pause and, if somebody speaks to you, just pause the show and then start it back up again. Maybe it was more like we just weren't thinking in those terms or whatever. But, yeah, she wanted to sit there and talk through the whole show. And she, like I said, she wanted to be the center of attention. And plus, she had that sadistic side. She knew that this was our time together. And like I said, he had a strength, that loyalty to her. And eventually, as some of you might remember, I just said, screw this. And I went and stayed at a hotel. I was like, his loyalties were messed up. And it was not my circus, not my monkeys. I wasn't dealing with it. It was causing my blood pressure to go too high. And for me, my health, I'm talking really high. My health was more important. There wasn't going to be a chance for me to get him to be unscrewed about that family. So I left. I went and stayed at a hotel. But anyway, yesterday, I tell stories and they just don't go with the flow. No, not everybody does go in a linear fashion. So anyway, so yesterday, sure enough, since she's been gone, that was, that was a few years ago. I can't remember how many, but it was more like I don't want to remember that at all, But I said this to Adam yesterday, because his brother called once again, right as we started watching the Rachel Maddow show. One of his brothers, the dentist. Yeah, and he always does. Not every day, of course, but whenever he calls within that hour. And so does, one of her children, her adult child and her, the husband, right during that show. And so does the other brother. Okay, from what I remember, he doesn't call very often. But, and I told Adam yesterday, I said, that's your sister. She told them to call during this hour. He said, oh, you got a problem. You have the problem. See, No. He's total denial about his family. And then he comes out of it every once in a while and say, yeah, they're pretty bad. These are people I wouldn't want to deal with. If I didn't want their family, I wouldn't want to have anything to do with them. Yeah. But he's got that weird loyalty, and it's all my fault. Well, there's more to that, yeah. But anyway, sure enough, his brother did that yesterday, and I had just sat down and, to watch it, and I don't do that very often anymore. I don't. I don't watch it with him much. I don't watch anything much with him anymore. And, so that's why it was on my mind. It's like, and I said, seriously, this woman, she wants control. She's way in another country, and she wants to have that control. She wants to. I got to know her, even though she and I had a little bit of a language barrier. But no, I know this type. I know they want to do it. They will try to ruin your life from the grave if they can. Somehow, like, your inheritance or whatever. But no, she had told them, because what are the odds that everybody from that family calls during the 8 o'clock hour, the hour that she tried to screw up all the time? And they started that when she was here, not at our place. Once she would go and visit them, then they would start doing that. So, yeah. I got the picture. It's not me just making it up. No. You know the score. Okay, now that is one of that family member of his that I wanted to update us a little bit of the story. Another one is not Dennis the dentist, Dennis the dentist. Yeah, not him, but the other brother who's older than all of them. He's the firstborn in their family. Well, right when this pandemic, before it was even called a pandemic, he lives in Florida. We live in Texas. And right before that, he called, right before it became very well known. I knew about it. But before people were talking about it, he called and basically, I was sitting there listening. I only heard Adam's side to it. And I told Adam, I said, he was trying to get to where he could come here. He and his family could come here and stay during the pandemic. And I said, no. And I said, if he, and Adam's like, oh, no, he wasn't doing it. I said, yes, he was. Adam doesn't pick up on these cues and stuff like that. And I said, yeah, he was. And later on, Adam, I spoke to him again and saw that, he was. Okay, he was coming from Florida. At the time, Florida was one of the, they were already talking about the issues because of it was before spring break, before the spring breakers went there even. It was before that. And, they were warning that this was going to happen back then, that, a lot of places were still going to have the spring break people in Florida, and that's where they live, that area. So I said, they want to get away from it. They want to come here, and they're going to be in our house. And I'm not going through that. Oh, no. That brother, I don't have a problem with, but I've heard about his wife and his adult children, not exactly what I want to spend my time with during a pandemic. Well, we didn't know it was going to be a pandemic then. But no. And just the people being pushy. Plus, from everything I've heard about their family, is they like to mooch. None of his family, none of them are poor, but they just like to mooch. It's like that you owe them something, and if they were going to come and visit you, you have to buy the, they invite themselves. You still have to pay for their airplane ticket. That kind, really. Oh, I'm telling you. I've talked about my family, or maybe not too much on this channel, but oh my goodness. Yeah, mine isn't perfect either. But still, I'm usually the one that has to deal with all of the crap. And, I'm tired of that in my life. I have had too much of that crap in my life. Seriously. So much I have considered being like that show, Bless This Mess, when they go. If you watch that show, Bless This Mess, I think it's ABC. I love that show. But they're basically living out in the country and becoming farmers. sometimes I feel like that. I've felt like that for many years. I wanted to disappear at one time, as far as just packing up my crap and, going to some live in some small town and not let anybody know where I was. I did that years ago. Oh, it was bad. But it was a bad time in my life. But anyway, yeah, I wanted to update those. Now the other one, I don't want to say too much about, because there's a little tragedies with Dennis. It's just not something I want to talk about them right now. Any other way. Okay, Dennis, not a problem, but yeah, the rest I'm going to leave aside. Having some respect for tragedies and stuff. I do have respect for those kinds of things. So, but the rest, no, she kind of, his sister, she deserves it. What did I call her back then? I had given her a nickname. What was it? Tara, I think, for terror. This woman was awful. And I've never had good experiences except for one of his family members. One! Okay? And she was kind of like me, except that she was just as sneaky as them. I'm not sneaky. I am not a sneaky person. But she was more like, they call it the scapegoat these days. But the scapegoat, that's not exactly the way that people define it. It's not exactly the way it's defined in... Yeah, I could go on with that, but no. It's more of the black sheep. I think a better term for it is the black sheep. Yeah, maybe even a little bit of the hero. So, anyway, I wanted to give a little updates about that. I think I made most of those videos private, which I don't know why. This channel, I've made most of my videos all around private, and I need to start just going through and, making them public again. And, when they had that, what was that whole thing, so many people were worried about, COPPA. Yeah, and then we found out it wasn't exactly like what there was, everybody was worried about, because we weren't getting enough information about it. And I put a bunch of my videos on private, and I still haven't made them public again. But anyways, every once in a while I might make an old video, it's kind of like a throwback Thursday kind of thing. An old video that I never made public before, I might make it public. So, yeah, if you see one out of the blue that just doesn't sound like it goes with the flow of all of them, that's the reason. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. I'll talk to y'all in another video.